Guys, I wanted to start the New Year's off right. I had this whole video dedicated to a step-by-step guide to programming. It's still gonna be coming out. That was gonna hit on January 1st, but this shit just took precedent. I didn't wanna wait on it because I made it and then new information came out and I had to remake it and it was a journey. Hopefully this video makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you lose hope in humanity, because that's kind of where I am right now. For me to stop and shine a light on some petty disagreement I had with somebody requires something bigger being at stake, like some vital lesson that people are regularly missing, or an example of something egregious. But if you've watched any of my stuff, you know that people representing the field of science to bolster their status while simultaneously acting in bad faith, promoting bullshit, and refusing to engage in actual discussions relevant to the topic, that's right at the top of my list of egregiousness that merits a video clapback. Now you can call this drama bait all you want, but not starting drama is not a virtue. It's pacifist nonsense. And for all the people that are continuously going on about the amount of bullshit in the fitness industry, many of those people are allergic to callouts when it's their guy. So I present to you newly anointed Dr. Wenning. Yes, apparently he was knighted by the high order of PE doctors that come out of the kinesiology department. And I happened to stumble on a post from one Andrew Locke, who's a character in his own right, but he was posting something I thought was kind of dumb. So on Andrew Locke's page, he was recommending a method for finding a bench press grip. See, Locke apparently got this from Wenning, who apparently got it from Poliquin. Basically, you get into a kneeling position, do a falling push-up, and then wherever your hands instinctively land, that's somehow your body finding the most optimal position for developing power. The idea is dumb, and I commented as such, and I'm gonna elaborate a little bit before we get into the actual beef. First of all, benching and this falling push-up bullshit has no logical connection. The important thing from the push-up drop is keeping the ground away from your pretty face, and you have milliseconds to get your hand in position. You're probably going to opt for the position that puts you farther away, which is going to be a closer grip. It's also the straightest line to the ground rather than putting your hands out. And you're navigating your body weight, which is very light, very manageable for just about everybody, which means you can catch yourself effectively in just about any position. And the highest forces are at lockout. In a bench press, it's the exact opposite. And the way your body just happens to react in a falling push-up has fuck all to do with yeeting hundreds of pounds off of your sternum. And the body doesn't find anything. That statement probably triggered me more than anything. And lastly, in benching, there's a lot of right answers, but you get good at how you train. Just go with whatever's comfortable and doesn't fuck up your shoulders. Now this would have been just another forgettable IG interaction, but when I saw him being a fucking dickbag bully in the comments, I just couldn't let it go. Like, he was being an asshole, but what got me was the entitlement to not be questioned. I've thrown my share of mud at idiot commentators, but the rule is that you don't present a strong opinion. You certainly aren't going to be an asshole about a strong opinion unless you can sit down and write a 10-page paper about the topic off the top of your head. And actual experts can't wait to just information dump all of their life experience onto you, whether you want them to or not. When people that live and die for a field, doesn't matter if it's toy trains, when they get into an argument, they will write just thousands of words unprompted to go point by point why you're wrong. Now, Mr. Wenning here doesn't seem to enjoy that part so much, because every single comment he's ever posted on YouTube or Instagram in response to a hater, it's always the same. It's, oh, so you're the expert, huh?
Come to find out, I had some kidney damage from lifting insanely heavy.
Thanks for the expert advice. Well, you don't have a total, so your advice doesn't mean anything. So I decided to leave this gem in the comments. Now notice what I'm doing. I'm talking shit, but I'm also laying out a pretty clear case for why this thing is fucking stupid. A simple analogy would say, hey, if this works for benching, of course it would work for the other lifts, but nobody uses this to find their squat stance. Now I gotta give Matt his due. I mean, he's a biomechanics expert after all, so here is a step-by-step tutorial where he demonstrates his superior knowledge of lifting.
Yeah, that looks way better. As you can see, he's pushing his knees out. His knees are going a little bit forward, but it's not bad. And what we need to do is work on slowly just getting his chest up higher.
Notice that he's not concerned with trivial things like the bar being over the knee or over the fucking toe. I'm sure this lifter absolutely isn't gonna go ass over tin cup once you put a 45-pound plate on the bar. He's worried about the important things, like the knees not going forward at all, because the real aim is to hyperextend your spine all the way back into your best reverse cowgirl position. And obviously he learned this from the position he falls into when he lands from a jump. Now, Matt's behavior is reminiscent of other online bullies who want their authority to carry their arguments and get really mad when you question them. Guys with egos bigger than their totals, like Lane Norton. I would say the rule here is like, don't be a dick in the comments, but that's really not a very good rule. Not one that I follow anyways. Actually, the rule is if you're gonna represent yourself as a science communicator or as having authority in this field, don't stick exclusively to arguments like you're weak and dumb and I'm strong and smart, while running as far away as possible from the actual thing being argued. Now, the reason there's two different filming setups is because I had to redo this section. I had initially responded to this little kerfuffle with a finger wagging over the standards that science communicators should have for themselves and the field should have for them. But because of the good work done by the fine lords at Bromley Court and a couple of brave souls who messaged me on Instagram, it turns out that there was a much bigger problem that merited some reshoots. See, I initially thought Matt's doctorate looked sus by itself. It was just a professional degree with PD at the end instead of PhD or any of the other letters that you're used to seeing after advanced degrees. So the way it works is that if you have a research emphasis in your doctorate, you get a PhD, and that applies to all fields. But if you have a practical emphasis, then you get a professional degree, which has letters that relate to the actual fields. Like if you're an educator, you might get an EdD. Doctors get MDs because you don't want doctors doing research. You want them in the fucking operating room or in the urgent care center saving people's lives. It's not research focused, it's practical focused. Now, I had never seen PD as in professional degree before, and apparently the front page of Google hadn't either, so there were just red flags all over the place. The PhD is one of the signifiers of status that you kind of want to have, and because Matt's self-employed, he doesn't need a professional doctorate to advance in his career at all. He said he was going back for educational purposes. So I thought it was very strange that he would forego the title of PhD for one that was so unfamiliar. It also stood out that he mentioned where he got his master's. He got it from Ball University, but he didn't mention where he got his doctorate. And then jumped to Bromley Court, Autistic Oracle, Rorschach's Bloat. I swear that one account is like 5 people because I don't know how one person exists in so many channels and watches so many things simultaneously, but thank God he's on my team. He sent me these clips where Wenning talks about getting his doctorate part-time and being able to use his book for his dissertation.
Doing it at a part-time rate because it was hard for me to do it full-time with my job. When I decided I was going to write a book, the university that I did my stuff through agreed to use it as a dissertation.
Those two things don't usually go along with the rigor you would expect from somebody getting a terminal degree. Then somebody responded to my Instagram story with a claim that his degree isn't real. He got it from a place called European International University, which by all accounts is an absolute bullshit degree mill. EIU is located in France, but it's not listed in the French Ministry for Higher Education and not on the list for private businesses. Its headquarters are apparently in Thailand, but a Thai user on a forum said that Thailand doesn't recognize them either. One user claimed to have completed a bachelor's degree from the institution in Paris, and when they inquired about it in private and public universities in the US, they all replied that they don't accept it as a letter for graduate studies. But hey, credit where credit's due. The university isn't lying to you. They tell you exactly what the deal is if you message them or if you go on their website. They say specifically the Professional Doctorate Award can indeed be considered an honorary award as it recognizes the recipient's advanced knowledge and expertise in their field. In many cases, individuals who hold a Professional Doctorate Award are entitled to use the term doctor. However, the specific use of the title doctor may vary depending on the country and jurisdiction, and individuals should consult the relevant authorities or professional organizations for specific guidance. I don't know, maybe Yale and Harvard have a page warning you about the appropriate use of doctor once you get one of their doctorate degrees. What the fuck do I know? But I'm gonna go out on a big ass branch and say that is very atypical to find on a university website. Now, in case you didn't catch the use of the term honorary degree, according to Wikipedia, honorary doctorates are purely titular degrees and that they confer no rights on the recipient and carry with them no formal academic qualification, and that a recipient of an honorary doctorate should restrict the use of the title doctor. Taylor Swift has an honorary doctorate in fine arts. Muhammad Ali got 4. Bill Cosby received 72. Now this all seemed very damning, but I couldn't make a video off of one comment from a stranger I've never met who just said Wenning went to EIU, I needed something more. And that's when a benevolent stranger came out of the woodwork. See, person A couldn't find the old post because apparently Wenning had deleted it. So he went to his buddy, person B, who sent me a message the following day with a screenshot with the coursework showing the year and each module within the coursework and the actual topic of Matt Wenning's dissertation. In the words of person B, he's such a dumbass that he posted the curriculum with the watermark. So in the vein of weightlifting is a waste of time author and legendary grifter John Jakesh, Matt Wenning essentially bought his doctorate from a mill just so he could put the term doctor in front of his face. He didn't get an education, he wasn't after the PhD. The term doctor is where the dollar value comes from. There's no two ways about it. This is fucking fraudulent. Now, this is also a shining example of why exercise science PhDs are so adamant that they are well within their right to call themselves doctor outside of university settings, because the term carries a lot of gravitas with it. And when you're at the bottom of the academic barrel, you need all the gravitas you can get. You have guys like Mr. Pack who like to talk about the etymology of the term doctor because it's derived from the word doctorate in PhD. It's right there, it's in the title. You want a guaranteed way to know somebody's full of shit? Listen to them go on about etymology as if that's everything you need to know about language. You don't have to be fucking John McWhorter to know that etymology is not how we figure out exactly how words are used in a modern context. In fact, it's probably the least important thing. If doctor just referred to having an advanced degree, to having a doctorate, oncologists wouldn't be distinguishable from honorary fine arts doctorates like Taylor Swift, so the term would have zero fucking meaning. Flight attendants wouldn't be asking, is there a doctor on the plane, when somebody's stroking out 30,000 feet in the air, because fucking Mildred with the degree in music theory would be raising her hand. Lives would be lost. Instead, in a crisis, you would just use another term to denote what you actually mean, and that would be the term that carries all of the clout. So lesser degrees are trying to muddy the waters because you can use the term doctor in a university setting and have it be appropriate, but they want to use it outside of that setting to steal some of the prestige that they certainly did not earn. There's no argument that it's not a case of stolen valor. Being a medical doctor is a badge that you're extremely smart, that you have high expectations for yourself, that you can survive grueling coursework, and that you have a skill that is necessary for everyone to keep on living. I mean, you could be a doctor making $400,000 a year, and you could be in a room of literal billionaires and world leaders, and you will still have status there. And it's not for the fact of having a doctorate, any doctorate, it's all the other shit. And Wenning's degree doesn't signify any of those things, but he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to be able to put doctor in front of his name when he's posting up a YouTube video. Now, if you're not convinced and you think I'm making a big deal about Dr. Mike, Dr. Pack, Dr. Wolf, understand that all the reasons I listed are why highly decorated experts in other reputable fields do not use the term doctor outside of an academic setting. Not Neil deGrasse Tyson, not Richard Dawkins, not Michio Kaku, Carl Sagan. Nobody refers to Einstein as Dr. Einstein. And it's because they understand that it's inappropriate and confusing. But I guess when you have success in a discipline that can carry its own weight, one that's actually useful to society, where there's competition and it's seen as being worth the shit, you're probably not really hard up for clout. So you see petty squabbles over titles like this as really being beneath you. Now, I care less about the fight over the use of the term doctor from people with actual doctorates. Like if Milo Wolf, who got a doctorate from a shitty school in a field that doesn't tend to attract math and science whizzes, wants to abuse the term doctor, that's stupid, but okay, whatever. What I really care about is the goddamn standards that each one of these fields have, especially when they try to represent science as a whole. So what we have right now with Wenning and his fraudulent use of the term doctor, somebody who wants to be seen as an authority in this field, this is a shining opportunity for people in the field of exercise science, actual educated people with real bona fides. This is an opportunity for them to show that they actually have standards and they will actually call out bad behavior. So is anybody going to call out Wenning for this shit? Is anybody going to be vocal and say, yeah, you're running around with a fake degree. Maybe you shouldn't operate in the fitness and fitness adjacent fields calling yourself doctor? Israel, Menno, Contreras, Schoenfeld, Helms, Pack, where are you at? Even Nippard, who is doctorate-less. How many of you are going to risk being offensive or stirring drama by showing that you have standards? How many of you are going to risk a potential collaboration opportunity by pointing to somebody and saying, hey, you're absolutely full of shit. I would say if you are a science communicator, that is your number one job above everything else. And if you don't take this opportunity to make this stand and say this is unacceptable, you're a fucking coward. And you've shown the field to be exactly what I've accused it of being. Let's see if anybody surprises me. I'm going to guess probably not. So guys, hopefully this video was as much of a roller coaster for you as it was for me for making it. At first, I was just pissed off about this stupid bench press tactic. And now here we are making allegations of fraud. What a time to be an influencer.